Welcome to The Story Tinker, a Webtoons and Witcher podcast for superfans with scene-by-scene analysis. Featuring sharp co-hosts for a fuller picture, we dive deep into character psychology, relationships, and theories. We'd love it if you could like, subscribe, comment, and rate us on all podcast platforms and social media. For bonus content, you can support The Story Tinker on Patreon. Let's begin. All right, everyone. So we are very excited. Bundin and I are very excited. We are about to do a live read of
in the Bleak Midwinter.
Yes, and it's been about a year and a half, right?
Year and a half, yeah. It went on hiatus, I think, in January of 2021. So in the time that this has been on hiatus, I went and got a master's degree. Like crazy.
Yeah, I think I only came across it when it was already on hiatus. I think I literally read them all in one day or 2 days.
It's like 40, what is it? Oh yeah, it was like 42 episodes. So yeah, you could kill that in a day easily. But that's a pretty decent webtoon season, I think. Like usually it's like, I would say 40 to maybe even 100 plus is like the range, but definitely seen it. 𝗵𝗱, for example, is usually about 50. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess I want to do a little recap. I know I just reread, I theoretically reread all of it, but not real. Like I reread all of it for screenshots, and then I reread up to like 30, 31, and I made like a chapter by chapter little outline, specifically looking for plot points because I wanted to write down anything that I thought was relevant to the plot, like kind of like the mystery details. So I made a Google Doc. I'll probably link it down here. And yeah, so I guess do you want to recap a little bit? There's basically it's this dystopian world.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you have a shot.
I'm gonna pull it up because I mean I remember the plot of this pretty decently, I think. So like use what your doc and tell me if I'm right. So basically, this girl, she was going through a really rough traumatic death in her family. Get the idea that she maybe blames herself for it, but we don't know what. So in this world, they have really advanced technology and androids, for example, and she does this thing where she can sleep in like a water pod thing, kind of basically be put into like a stasis almost for like a year, and she won't dream, won't feel anything, won't age, and she signs up for a year, but 25 years pass, and in that time the androids kind of have a war with the humans, and the atmosphere gets destroyed, and it's toxic air, and like a bunch of people are dead, and it's perpetual winter. And she wakes up, and oh yeah, I forgot to mention as well, in this world they have soulmates. Mm-hmm. And her timer all like when she went in, yeah, some people do, not all, but she does have one. And when she went in the pod, she had about 25 years left, and she emerged from the pod like spontaneously, maybe 30 seconds before her timer went off without her even realizing it, and then turns around to see her presumably soulmate holding a gun to her head, and he immediately just shoots her, kills her, but she doesn't stay dead. That's basically the first 3 episodes in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess so that was a great recap. The other like important plot point is that her mom was the scientist who invented the soulmates. The androids.
Has that been established? I vaguely remember that. I don't know if that was canon yet or not. You just read it, so if it's in there.
Yeah, okay. It's in the first couple episodes. They're like Zoe, whatever her name is, 𝗬𝗏𝗲 something, was responsible for this, and she left us her family of droids, and they're blaming her. And she disappeared from the public eye. At the funeral of her little sister, sounds like she was dead. Basically, her little sister dies right before this, right in the opening incident, and it seems as though it's sort of a little bit Anya's fault because she let droids be near her. But there was some kind of accident, and then her little sister died. So a few more plot points I noticed later on is that 𝗤𝗏, in a conversation with Anya, tells Anya, "Oh, your little sister, she must have been one of the," and it's cut off. So I think there's something significant about the little sister. And yeah, so basically what happens is Anya wakes up, she encounters her brother 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. 𝗪𝗪𝗪 is a big jerk. He kills her again to try to see if she's an android trick. She's not. She just has these regenerative abilities. She can wake up again and again and again, even after being killed. And he tries to use her to kill the war general of the androids, whose name is 𝗤𝗏, who's her soulmate. And she goes out, she does sort of incapacitate him, but she can't bring herself to actually shoot him. Then he has a conversation with her. He's like, why didn't you shoot me? She ends up actually, yes, shooting him. And then he tells her, no, it wasn't the androids who started the war. It was the humans who started the war. So both sides are blaming each other for the war. And we don't know what the truth is. We do know that it seems that Anya was part of an experiment that 𝗕𝗲 was doing. There's a couple of clues.
𝗕𝗲, who is Omega's brother.
Right.
Yes.
And he has no sympathy. Like Omega has some human sympathies. You see that 𝗕𝗲 criticizes him for having human sympathies. You also see that he bleeds red and black because androids bleed black, humans bleed red, and Omega and 𝗕𝗲 are part of the 10, which are like they're the ones that have the Greek letters. There's only 3 of them left. There's there's Omega, 𝗕𝗲, and Gamma, who's their sister. And they seem to be part of the original 10. They're indestructible. They also regenerate, and they seem to call Anya's mom their mom. They mention her at some point. So they seem to be like half droids, half human.
Yeah, I think the main idea is that they are on some level human, which makes sense because Omega has a soulmate mark on his wrist, which only humans get. So he's got to have at least some human in him to have that.
And he's like, no, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. I find that conversation so hilarious. He's like, it can't be. You're kind or flawed. But yeah, and then there's my favorite character, Ivan. He's a really nice guy. Hopefully I'll make a whole video about him and Kieran coming soon. So, but I love him. That's all I need to say now. He's great. And he cares for Anya. He is like kind of the second in command. He's one of the military people there. And the final kind of like event of season 1 was that they he and Ivan and Omega and Anya, well, first Anya and Ivan go out to meet this person from the east, Yelena, who is going to help them, I think, like rebuild the shields and make the air non-toxic. But then they get captured by this third party, who's an unknown third party. They want Omega. We don't know why. We don't know what they are. But they capture all 3 of them. They're fighting.
No, they only capture, I think, Omega and Ivan, because Anya ends up with 𝗕𝗲, and now they're both like, we need to get them back.
Right. So first they have this encounter roll. 4 of them are fighting against them, and then Anya decides she wants to broker some kind of peace. She's always been trying to broker peace. Hasn't really worked, but she says, I'm going to go with you. You know, Omega, you want me. I'm going to go to your side if you, I don't know, I forgot, like,
let them go
together with us. So yeah, and then they're about to get captured by these like third party people. 𝗕𝗲 is coming, but he's not there soon enough. And then Ivan and Omega are very heroically, they're like, you go and we'll cover you. You just escape, because they're very like.
And then Ivan also dramatically reveals that he knows that Omega is Anya's soulmate, and I was shook. I was very shook.
Smart. Now that I reread it, I noticed when he first noticed it, because when 𝗦𝗫cie first tells Anya, you have to kill Omega, she's like, no, I'm not a killer. And then she looks at her soulmate marker, and Ivan notices right over there. Like, you see him notice. So he's an observant young man.
Oh, one other thing quick I want to bring up about Ivan. He's got a cute baby brother. And I think that's going to end in tragedy because of how they show the little brother, and he's got type 1 diabetes, apparently, like, needs insulin shots. I don't see things ending well for him, but I still love him. He is precious and sweet, and I really hope that he lives, but I don't know, and I don't think that it's gonna happen. Aww. And as soon as he was introduced, I was like, oh no, this child is gonna die. But who knows?
I don't know. I'm always optimistic, so you know, I don't know. But he did
like
that
when we did the Witcher one, and they introduced the one owning his farm. And then I was immediately like, oh, he's going to die. It's like that feeling.
Maybe. It is the last thing that Ivan tells Anya when he feels like he might die. He's like, you take care of Misha if something happens to me. It's a very touching scene. Like, we see their relationship getting built up. Ivan also doesn't believe in soulmates. I think there's a little bit of him that's like, I don't know, jealous, but I happen to like that he doesn't believe in soulmates, because I think that it means he's an individual thinker, and he believes in like free choice. He's like, why should you wait around for like, you know, your soulmate marker? Like, you can choose yourself. But he clearly likes Anya. but Anya thinks 𝗤𝗏 is her soulmate, and 𝗤𝗏 has, you know, feelings about that. Like he tries to deny it, but he definitely has like a human heart, and I think he definitely feels something for Anya. I wouldn't call it love, but something.
Who knows, might develop into love. I don't know. This is one of those weird instances where like she could end up with either one of them, and I don't think I would mind, because they're both pretty interesting, well-rounded individual characters in their own right, and I don't see this being turned into like a love triangle situation. So I'm really just kind of chill to see what happens with it. I'm not pro one side or pro the other side. I think I'm maybe just slightly more 𝗤𝗏 right now, just because I don't know. He's got, I don't know, the broody kind of, I don't know. I really don't know, but Ivan is also so like fiery and smart, but also funny, and cares about his brother and sharpshooter. I don't know. They both have good qualities that I like. And again, it doesn't really matter who she ends up with. I don't really, like, it's one of those things where it's like, she could end up with nobody. That's probably fine. Like, they're all individually so strong and like compelling on their own that I really don't need them to couple up. But if they do, my 𝗕𝗏𝗃, of course, would not mind.
Right. Yeah, I do agree. I like that they all have their own story. Yeah, I prefer Ivan, but it doesn't matter. The truth is, the first time I read this, I did not think that 𝗤𝗏 had any feelings. I felt like he was very distant and that he hadn't talked enough. But now upon a reread, I do see that he actually, it's more subtle. I think his expressions are much more muted. But when I read it again, I noticed that he did have expression and he does have feelings. So you know, I liked him a little more this time around. But yeah, so the last scene is basically Ivan and 𝗤𝗏 have been captured by what we find out they're called the wraiths, and like 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃. And 𝗤𝗏𝗃's like, oh, I thought that there weren't any of you around anymore. And they, whatever it is, they have these red eyes. So we haven't found out much information about them except for that. We know that they've been looking for 𝗤𝗏. They're gonna find a use for Ivan too. And that, you know, it ends with 𝗪𝗪 and Anya, and 𝗪𝗪 talks to Anya, and it seems like there's some kind of plan and some information we're going to find out about her also. And he knows, the last thing he says is like, oh, you've been drowning for 25 years and waking up all the time.
Yeah. I do remember that. It's like, oh yeah, she's been kind of in this loop the entire time, but like doesn't remember. Something triggered her waking up in that instance. But yeah. And also she's the only one to have survived, because they show in the beginning all the other pods, like the bodies are like wasted away. So
yeah,
what made her unique?
Wondering about that, because like now that I read it again, I was like, are they dead? Are they just like half dead? Are they going to stay there forever?
This is just my memory. There's this thing that they need to be able to regenerate. I can't remember the name for it, or like the lab full of, insert that word. And I think that the people that were in stasis are somehow the source of it, which is why it's limited. And they want to protect that lab. They wanted to protect that lab so badly and have so much security around it. So I think Anya's got some of whatever that is in her, and that's why she keeps regenerating. At least from what I vaguely remember from my last reread of this, which was a few months ago. So.
Right, they definitely are looking, the androids are looking for more Dramaxil, because the regular droids need that. It's like their lifeblood. I don't think they can need it. But the other thing I was confused about, which I didn't really get an answer even upon reread, was like, it seems that Dramaxil, because 𝗤𝗏 gets attacked with this capsule, like the stick of Dramaxil. So I think it's like harmful to him, but then also the lifeblood for the droids, that one I still wasn't clear about. I might reread it like again.
Yeah, might clear it up in this season.
Yeah, so are we ready to read?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so long. Okay, ready? Oh, there's music. Oh, we have to mute then, I guess.
What?
We have to mute because it'll be like echoey. I'll read it with music later. That's fine.
I'll mute it, yeah.
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, we could describe what we're seeing.
Like and 𝗪𝗪 scanning.
No, let's take turns. Let's do you'll do the first half, I'll do the second half.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, well, like wind howling through the streets and the buildings. Everything's very hazy and snowy, and we see 𝗪𝗪's eyes kind of glowing green and scanning the buildings, but it says no movement detected. He scans another building, same thing, no movement detected, but then a bright yellow error message pops up, and he sees something moving. Error unidentified. And he listening to one of the androids behind him. They say no sign of their master, and 𝗙𝗲 says, "Spread south, leave no stone unturned until Omega is found." And he is naked, basically, or he's in like a suit.
Right, that's like the naked. I don't know, right? That is the sort of naked, but yeah, that's their body is like a robotic metal body.
Makes sense though. If you really need the skin, hair, and by the wrists and stuff. But yeah, was not expecting that. It's like
One thing I noticed, like these the other droids don't seem to have any personality. Like, first of all, they're obviously also like all dressed the same. They don't have names, they don't have numbers. And he's like calling him master. I don't know, they don't have any personality.
No, they don't. They're like not artificial, and maybe there some level of artificial intelligence, but they're not like sentient. Like,
I don't know. I think the way that 𝗙𝗲 and Omega talk about them, it feels like they identify with them like they're
they
fellows.
call them brothers and stuff, right? Or
yeah, but
they're
like
kind.
Can they even do they have sentience? Like, I don't get the impression they do.
Oh, also, I forgot to mention this episode is called Lions and Sheep.
Okay.
Yeah, so
𝗙𝗲, I see, looks different already. He looks more angular, right?
Yeah, I always thought his design, like people were like really into his design in the beginning. I always thought he looked kind of creepy, but I think that was intentional.
That's what I thought too, but I thought it was creepy on purpose.
Yeah, and I thought it was creepy on purpose, but he kind of looks more handsome now. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But it could just be the side profile. I don't know.
Well, we'll see more of his face. No, I scroll down a little bit. I think that his art has changed. Well, I'm curious to see how the art has changed. It's been a whole long time. And I know that like
pretty similar, but you know, clearly changed slightly. So yeah, he says, "I need a small patrol with me. He will head north." Who will head north? Who is this he?
Head north.
Yeah.
I think it's just him and this other droid. Oh, well, the patrol.
So he's continuing to like scrunch through the snow, but then scream a wire or a rail off of a bridge.
Wow.
And then turns around and yeets it at another android.
Oh, it's one of those. I think it's that third party.
Oh yeah, because that's the one is bleeding red. And he's saying, "They're escaping." And then he says, "Pursue." And then that guy is bleeding on the floor. He steps on the bar and pushes it in more.
𝗙𝗲 is like so vicious.
He's kind of sadistic. Like, then this little rat is mine. Ugh. But then he gets like a shocked expression and looks up, and then says, "Dramaxil detected." And then it's, what is he touching? The one on the floor? Yes. And it's like causing some weird electrical thing. And 𝗙𝗲's like, "That's
before, like that's how when they attacked Omega, blue like electricity went through him.
Yeah.
Like it sprouted these like these kind of like crystals.
Yeah. And then 𝗙𝗲 says, "It's impossible. Where did you get this?" And then the thing's like, "You already know," in italics. Ooh. Oh, and it's another one of these, the third party with the glowy eyes says, "Just like you know who we are."
Who are you? I'm very nervous. Wow, it looks human except for the blue eyes.
Well, yeah, just like what's her face? At the end of season 1 with the red eyes.
Right, should she have a name?
I cannot remember. In my mind, she looks like the other mother from Coraline with the button eyes. If you've seen that, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It's the vibe I get. But then the person on the floor says, "I'm not going to talk either, so you're better off killing me now." And Omega just looks 𝗙𝗲 looks completely unbothered and frowning. And then 𝗙𝗲 says, "Not at all. You're coming with me," with the statistic smile again.
He looks like, doesn't he look like the Joker here? I never watched
the smile. The smile looks very cartoon Joker from like the animated shows of the comics.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then he does something else that makes him.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we see, is this a new title card? I think it might be. I don't know, but it says the name of the episode, Lions and Sheep. And then we see a room with long fluorescent lights and someone who's bound by the wrists. And then we see two pairs of feet. One of them's walking towards the tied up person and says, killing you would be easy. And then we see the tied up person is Ivan, but he looks beat up.
Yeah, it looks like he has this bump swell on his cheek.
And it looks like he's been there a while. He's got some stubble too.
The mustache. I mean, I'm fine with the mustache, but I'm sad that he's being tortured.
Yeah. He says, you sure know how to charm a guy, huh?
See, this is where he is like Kieran. They're like, they both have this flippant attitude. Just
Yes.
make jokes all the time. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Less flippant than Kieran.
And they both get tortured apparently, but we're not going to get into that. I'm sorry. I had to. And then, it's the wraith lady. See the long hair. And she says, thankfully, I need you alive. Your ingenuity is the only reason this war-torn city still stands. Oh, so is she on the human side, potentially?
Well, no, she explains herself in the next sentence.
I doubt if any of your species would have survived against the androids if it wasn't for your exquisite engineering. But I need it more than them. Oh, she's so creepy.
She is. The previous season showed how he invented, at least he was tinkering on some stuff when he was talking to Anya. He also talked about how he invented the bracelet that detects ear toxicity. So apparently he's an engineer and invents stuff.
Smart boy.
You know.
And then
that puts him up a notch. I'm in my 𝗬𝗃 versus 𝗏. Everyone gets they each have like a scale. That's
yeah. And then she says, and I've been asking nicely these last 2 weeks despite your refusal. So 2 weeks of this.
Oh.
And then she
bathroom to get food.
She tip closer to him, the footsteps, and says, your loyalty towards them is admirable. If you were one of my race, we would venerate you for such devotion.
What's her race?
Yes, unknown third party.
A wraith? I mean, she's a wraith, but what's a wraith?
But surely you of all people can understand why we're doing this. And then he looks up and he looks like he's gonna say something, but then he's like, you mean why you're doing this? You want what the big bad wolf has? Fine, pick him apart. I could care less. But don't expect me to help you steal his immortality for yourself.
Oh, so he cares. I mean, I don't know if he cares about the big bad wolf because he hates him probably. But maybe in the last 2 weeks, A, he grew to like him more. B, he knows Anya likes him. C, I think that he just doesn't want to participate in doing something bad, even if it's to someone he doesn't like.
I think it's more this unknown third party is unknown to him, and he's seen them take the unkillable people down. And so he figures their skill and technology with the 𝗤's immortality would probably be bad.
Yeah.
And she doesn't seem to be aligned with the humans either, so he doesn't need another player in this conflict who is better equipped and immortal. So yeah, I think it's mostly that. I genuinely think he does not care whether Omega lives or dies. Genuinely.
I think you make a very good point.
And then he says, I'm not sure what illusions of grandeur you're living under, but I don't particularly care to be a part of them. He's so dumb.
Does he think that she wants to make him immortal? I guess so. I guess he'll be the guinea pig.
Oh, I think they would rather do it on themselves, but if they need to experiment on someone who's not your kind, but also because they're different races or species, or she's a completely different thing, some technology-based thing. A human might react differently anyways, so might as well use one of their own, but and then she grabs him by the collar and pulls him in and says, I've been good to you. I've fed you and gave you shelter, Ivan. Help me take him apart. Learn his secrets. Then we can kill him. And her eyes are glowing all red and she's being super creepy. And you're free to go. And then he just stares at her and says, nah.
Oh my gosh, this is I'm terrified for him.
This is not the first time this man has been tortured. Another thing he shares in common with Kieran.
No, and he's so brave and defiant, and I like that. But I'm so bad for him.
Oh, I read ahead a bit, and then but she's looking all creepy again, and she says, "Then perhaps I should start removing your fingers instead. And when I'm done, I can throw you out in the open and see how long you last."
Oh, wait,
he's-
lady. I hate you. Bad
and then
person.
he's giving her kind of a flat look again. He's like, "Right. And after you're finished your slaughter and made yourself into a superwoman, what then? You wish us well, and you wish us well, say goodbye, and promise to write." And then she's kind of like clenching her fist, I think, which is like shaking. She's like, "Why, yes. Why would I wish to remain in this ruined city?"
Huh.
And then he kind of like, feed that cork of shit to someone else, lady.
I think he doesn't believe her that she doesn't have nefarious plans for the city. I feel
Yeah.
like he thinks that she wants to destroy the city.
Yeah, no, smart boy. And then he says, "If you can really kill the gray wolf, it makes you even more dangerous than him. Besides, you know his brother is going to track you down. That's why we haven't left this hole. You're terrified that he'll find you. You can't afford to move, and you're not strong enough to kill Delta.
Huh.
That's why you need Omega." And he's got that smile. He's like, "That's
That's
why you need Omega."
No, I mean, it looks like the Joker from the card games.
He looks like he's giving me very Bard and D&D energy in this moment. I don't know why, but he's just like, he knows. It's like he knows he's like right, and he's having fun like messing with her. If you want, you could take over from now as well.
Or is it just that they have Omega?
Maybe it could be that he's stronger. I get the sense that that Delta is older than Omega.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's just their physical designs or whatever, but he seems to be the one mostly in charge of everything. So he's not only got the experience, but he's also got like, the legion of androids at his back, and like the knowledge about a lot of the things that have gone on and everything. So I would probably say that he's stronger than Omega in that sense.
Yeah, I know. That's very cool.
But yeah, you can take over from here. I think we're about halfway.
Okay. And then he says, "You will gladly level this city to get the power he has." So yeah, he doesn't believe her. So Nya, find someone else to do your dirty work. I'm fine with sitting back and looking pretty. Oh, I love how he talks, but I'm so scared for him. I feel like he's gonna get tortured again.
No, he's got main character energy. He's got that plot armor. He's fine. He's fine.
I hope so. But he could be in pain and he'll still survive.
Yeah. But he'll survive.
Okay. So she purses her lips. He glares at her. She glares back. They're having a face-off, battle of the wills. She has those weird glowy eyes again. And then she says, I wasn't always like this. Okay, don't give me a sob story. I'm not gonna like you anyway. And he doesn't say anything. And she said, "I was normal once." Good, some might say. Okay, good. I'm glad you recognize that you are currently bad. But war has a way of making survivors of us all, doesn't it? It steals something from everyone. Children especially.
I mean, war started 25 years ago, so if she was human, yeah, she would have been a child when this happens. She looks like she's in her, 30s?
Well, actually, we get an answer right away.
Oh.
It says, "You must have been when the war began," but I was 20. Okay, so she's like 45.
Yeah.
A girl, really? Just me and my dad. He adored me, taught me everything I know. I was the luckiest girl in the world to have him. And we see, it looks like a flashback of her and the hand reaching towards her. And the dad is saying, "This world is not made for dreamers," he used to tell me. It looks a little ominous to me. We don't see the dad's face. And I feel like the whole setting is ominous. It sounds like she's an experiment. I feel like the dad is not such a great guy.
Yeah, I get abusive father senses from this visuals.
Yeah, let's see. Only those with the will to do what's needed. Yeah, that sounds, that kind of like sort of Machiavellian talk. Psycho. Psycho, destroy your own daughter type. And he's fondling her cheek and she's grinning. And he says, she continues, he believed that's why some were destined to rot away. Sheep and lions, he insisted. And they're walking along. Looks like they're on some sort of conveyor belt. Well,
Underground.
20 over here, by the way.
I'm pretty sure this is her as a child, so her dad's just always been like this, or maybe she's not necessarily human to begin with.
I have a feeling he experimented on her, but we'll find out soon. But this looks like it's before the war started.
Yes.
She said she was 20 and here she's a little girl. And she says, to achieve greatness, one has to sacrifice. Yeah, he definitely did some kind of weird experiment to her. And she looks back and she says, his death was its own kind of sacrifice, I suppose. Ivan's just still looking. And her face is first, her mouth is downturned, but then she smiles and says, but I never forgot that. Lions and sheep. This is like grinning. Hunter and prey. I've long since given up being prey. Tap, tap, grabs his face. And she says, and if you don't want me to hunt down and devour your little brother, Ivan, as I ask. No!
How does she know about the brother? How does she know about the brother? No way in hell he would have brought up his brother, probably even under torture. She knows about the brother. Well, it might just be like a known thing that he protects a little brother.
Yeah. Well, she heard about him, so it makes sense that she would have heard that too.
Yeah.
Do not make me the villain, because I will give you more than nightmares. No, I will gift you with pieces of those you love. I wish I would know her name so I could press it out. And she says, understood. And she's still grabbing his cheek and he's just looking at her with a determined expression. And he yanks it away and says, go drink some motor oil, lady. Maybe it'll take the edge off.
Oh,
Ivan.
yeah, I
I agree. You can't let these people take what they want. Also, he could just hope and pray that, you know, he stays protected and with all the other people.
Yeah, no, like I don't think he's willing to entertain the idea of her getting to his brother. Like, and also he knows like she's already trapped her. Like he says, like how is she gonna get to his brother? And like she's trying to kill them anyways. She was planning to kill his brother anyways. So yeah, but then sorry, I'm just looking at the panel of her punching him across the face and the splatter of the blood.
Yeah, she gets angry. Blood splattered all over the place. He's dripping blood. He's like, not so friendly now, huh? I admire him. I admire his presence of mind under torture, and good for him. And don't let bad people get their way. Seriously, you should treat them like this because they deserve it. Yeah,
even with a mouth full of blood, he is still maintaining his attitude, and I appreciate that.
We love Ivan. And she is angry. She's clenching her fist. It's shaking, and now the door opens, and now we finally learn her name. It's like Yelena. Someone says Yelena, and it is a person with, they look like they have normal hair also, but like also their body is like,
and their eyes are glowing if you scroll down a bit.
Right. But it still looks pretty normal. And says yes, and he says, we had another close call. We need a blue face. It actually looks like the guy that Delta attacked. It could be. Do you think so?
It could be. Say like similar eye color, like kind of a tealy green color.
Yeah, and the hair also, but I don't know if we know for sure. So.
But and also Delta like messed up the front of his outfit with that pipe that he shoved through him. So
yeah, we don't know how fast they heal. Maybe they also have regenerative.
Maybe. But the blood stains.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's the same guy or not. And he's base, and Yelena is like, we will stay here. Is like, get what I want. And he said, get this one back to the cell. No food or water. If you're not appreciative of my good manners, perhaps this will help clear your head. And the guy takes him out and he's like, see you tomorrow. And the guy like shoves him.
I love this little shit.
We're walking down the hallway and Ivan being all ferocious. I'm screenshotting this. This is an amazing shot. Oh my god, he looks so determined and brave, and we love him. And now, now we have this total switch from this like horrible, dirty, grimy cellar, and we switch to this opulent chandelier with a golden light, and we have Anya on the side, and she's like slamming her hand against her own hand. Tap, 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 turning around. Looks like she's getting up from her chair, standing up, Okay, she looks a little different. She was in this chair, right, which is like the last place we seem to have seen her. This really pretty house, a lot of glass windows. She's getting up, it's sunlight, sunrise, sunset, whatever behind her. She gets up and she says, Delta. Delta looks different. They both look a little different.
Yeah, Delta, they made Delta more attractive and less creepy. At least his resting face. Probably the creepy smile we saw.
I think he's still creepy, but his facial structure is more rigid now. It's more like it went from more cartoony, like and flat and elongated to more like realistic. And
he had really strange like curves about his face that kind of made him look slightly unhuman, which again is probably intentional. So now he looks flatter. Human.
They were like more stretched out, like and wider than they should be. So yeah, they're a little more proportional now. But he's still very well dressed, as he always was. And she's like, "You're back. Okay, we need to talk and move to this pretty place." And that's where it ends.
Oh, and it's a return week special. We get coins.
I know, yeah, I just got it too.
Yeah. 1 coin.
Yeah. And there's 3 fast passes. I don't know. I think I might fast pass.
I think I wanted to because series I'm fast passing I think is going on hiatus soon, so I can afford it.
Oh, so are we fast passing then?
Yeah, how many fast passes are there?
3.
Okay.
Okay, let me stop it so that I can like publish this one separately and then.
Thank you so much to my current patrons: Susie, Lady Libris, Lily, Jenny, Molly, Veronica, Emily, Jo, Rochelle, Saucy Toggles, Anne Rose, Alexa, Misty, Joanne, 𝗏𝗏, Esther, 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗡, Emily, Jean, Jen, Erin, Kay, Lily, Beckett, Duranda, Christine, Sadie, Kelly, Teresa, Mrs. Gastaldo, Tatiana, Louisa, Rachel, and Stacey Moon. Your support is truly appreciated.